Eric B's Daily Vlogs.
All right, another episode of Eric B's Daily Vlogs. This time, again, in the podcast studio, because this time we're going to talk about the two people standing behind me right there. Hawkeye just released on Disney Plus, and they released 2 episodes. So we're going to discuss both episodes, and I'll give you my comments and my thoughts on the other side. Let's get this started.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Welcome, everyone. It's my daily vlog channel, Eric B's Daily Vlogs. Hawkeye on Disney Plus. After watching The Eternals and how I told you guys in my rundown of The Eternals how I just didn't feel comfortable watching a whole new group of people. And if they brought in Jeremy Renner to play Hawkeye, if they brought in Tom Hiddleston to play Loki, any of those guys would have made a big difference in the movie Eternals. I think the Rotten Tomatoes scores would have gone up just a little bit if they brought in an original MCU character. Disney Plus came out just a couple days ago, depending on when you watch this, with Hawkeye and with Haley Steinfeld. Is it Steinfeld or Seinfeld? Steinfeld, Jeremy Renner, who plays Hawkeye, and they just released it on Disney Plus. And I'm telling you right now, that nostalgia feeling of the Avengers felt really good to watch a regular human being be an Avenger. That's what a lot of people say. Hawkeye is the worst Avenger. He's the weakest Avenger, but I think he's the most important Avenger because he brings humanity and what us humans are like, because he's the only one that had a family. He's the only one that had a wife and kids. So this gives us a story of what he did after the blip. And again, we're going to just kind of sort of break down both episodes. I'm not really going to go into details of both episodes, but I just thought I'd want to talk about it. But as we always do, we're going to go look from my screen right here. Let me go pull that up. I already have it queued up. We're going to watch the trailer of Hawkeye. Enjoy.
This is the first Christmas we've had together in years.
I love you guys. I'm making up for some lost time.
Authorities are wondering if the masked vigilante who terrorized the city's underworld is back.
The past has caught up with me.
Should we be worried?
No, it's nothing. I'll be home for Christmas. I promise.
I love that, Marvel Studios.
When I wore this suit, I made a whole lot of enemies.
Bro.
You're Hawkeye.
Who the hell are you?
Some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
Are you one of those people?
It's the most wonderful.
Hey, babe, I should be back in a day or two. Hang on a second.
With the kids jingle belling and everyone telling.
Things have gotten more complicated.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Coming this season.
It's the most wonderful time. Yes, the most wonderful.
This is too dangerous. Definitely not this one.
You don't have to say definitely like that. Holy shit! There are arrows more dangerous than that one?
Oh, it's just some Christmas.
Disney Plus. Let's go back into my main screen. What do you guys think? This episode, what they showed us, kind of showed us a cool, again, backstory of what Hawkeye is. Again, he's just a regular guy trying to live a normal, regular life. And Kate Bishop brings him back full circle and decides, I'm going to find a way to get the Ronin suit. Yeah, I mean, it's a good it's a good homage, and it's kind of a way of saying I'm gonna pass the torch, because Jeremy Renner, again, he's just a regular human being, and if you guys follow the comic book, Kate Bishop ends up taking the Hawkeye role, right? So is Kate Bishop going to be the next Hawkeye? Is Hawkeye just says, like, I'm done and let someone else do it? I don't know. That's most likely what's going to happen. That's most likely what we're going to see. So what I'm going to do here, like I said, I did in the Shang-Chi edition, we're going to just check a couple of videos. We're just going to go run down real quick, skim through certain parts. What I want to show you guys here, this part right here is cool, because if you look at the opening scene of Marvel right here, you see the Hulk, you see Iron Man, you see Black Panther, you see Ant-Man, you see the Wasp. I'll show you guys something right when they show the Marvel sign. Captain America's always there. Captain Marvel's there. And I said this in my Shang-Chi video that I believe, I'll pause it. You see Hawkeye, you see the Hulk and the R. But if we keep going, right there, in the M, you see that? In the M of Marvel Studios, they added Shang-Chi. That's kind of cool. You have Shang-Chi, you have Captain America, Falcon, Captain America, you have Groot. So they added Shang-Chi in this episode of the Marvel Studios, which I think is cool. It's a cool homage to let us know that we're going to stay away from Captain Rogers, Chris Evans. Hey, what's going on there? And I love this opening scene. 2012, they show us in the Battle of New York. And what I love about this scene is you don't realize, okay, when you're watching it, you're like, okay, 2012, why does it have anything to do with 2012? And it's just an homage to the Battle of New York, the Chitaris and, Loki going crazy. We're just going to fast forward this whole scene just because there's just, so much involvement in this. And again, we're just going to break down scene to scene. And it's funny seeing Vera Farmiga play the mom of Kate Bishop. After watching her on Conjuring, it's hard for me to see her as an MCU character. Just for me, in the beginning of the opening scene, I couldn't even tell it was her because she had that black wig on. But just for me, it's kind of hard to see her as, the mom. But okay, so this scene, again, the Chitaris are coming, the Battle of New York. But what kills me about this opening scene, and I'm going to break this opening scene down to you. You have your daughter who's hanging out by herself, and it took you forever. And spoiler alert, if you guys haven't watched this, shame on you if you haven't watched this, if you're a Marvel fan. But it took her mom forever to come up to her and say, is everything okay? And then all of a sudden, when she finally gets her, they do a cut scene because she says, where's dad? And the dad is just dead. So I have a feeling the mom, who's supposed to be a bad person in here because she's married to Tony Dalton, or she's married to the character of Tony Dalton, Jack Duquesne? Is that his name? Or he's going to marry her. But this scene right here, when she's looking out the window and she sees the Battle of New York and she sees a Chitauri warrior coming after her, she's freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. Then all of a sudden, and I love this scene because she's looking out the window and you can see right outside and you see Stark Tower right there, which is a cool homage to the old Avengers, the Tony Starks, the, Chris Evans and all that stuff. Okay, you guys got to stop that. But she's looking up, and then across the street in the building, she sees Hawkeye, and she's inspired to become an archer. Like in this scene, she's looking up at Hawkeye, and she's like, I want to be just like him. And she sees a regular person. She doesn't see a superhero. She doesn't see a god. Well, to her, she sees a superhero, but she doesn't see a god like Thor or Iron Man or Captain America. She sees a regular guy with a bow and arrow who is saving himself with bows and arrows. And that's just how cool Hawkeye is. And a lot of people don't like Hawkeye. I like Hawkeye. I didn't like him I didn't like Jeremy Renner in the SWAT. You guys remember the SWAT? Was it called SWAT? Yeah, I didn't like him there because he was a bad guy. But I like him here. He's just a regular guy. He's just, like me and you who are like, I want to be an Avenger. What can I do? He decides to get a bow and arrow and a katana, a sword. He's cool. So this scene, The mom finally gets her. It's like, oh, what took you so long? And what took her so long? There's this big attack going on in New York. And if you guys watch the scene, it took at least 3 or 4 minutes for the mom to finally get there. So I have a feeling she kills her husband because he's rich. She's not. So I have a feeling that's what happened. So, again, cut scene, and then here's the funeral scene. They're all mourning the loss of the dad and blah, 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 blah. We're going to go to the opening credits. And what I love about the opening credits, and I'm just going to fast forward. It says Kevin Feige right here. The opening credits in episode 1 shows us how she became who she is. She's an archer right here, right? She's not an archer. She's a fencer. She's fencing. And then here she's an archer. And then she's a little kid. Now she's doing some kind of martial arts, right? And she's fencing again. So it's kind of showing us how she evolves to be who she is, Kate Bishop. And, she has all these trophies. Those are supposed to represent trophies that she has. And they do say it in the movie that, where am I going to put all these trophies? She's a gymnast, so that's why she can jump all over. And I love, if you didn't watch this opening scene, it's like you have to go back and watch this opening scene because it shows her transformation from the little kid that she was to who she is. And again, there's the Hawkeye episode, and it goes right here. And it's funny because in this scene, I'm going to try to zoom in right here. Oh, I don't want to do that. In that scene, in the little placard that we just passed, let me just go back just a little bit. And you guys know I have a hard time doing this all the time. She's breaking in. But in that building, that's Obadiah Stan? Remember in Iron Man 1? Obadiah was the one that wanted the tech that Tony Stark had. So she's in the building, and I guess this is a college. I'm not sure the name of the college. It does say it in the building. But she's doing this whole archery thing. She made a bet, and I think the bet was there's a bell or something. I think the bet was the bell's fixed and it's not moving. And she's like, no, the bell's working. But this building is dedicated to Obadiah Stane. And for her to break it, it's kind of like our way of saying, why is he still in the MCU? Why is his name still on there? And yeah, she ends up breaking the bell. The clock tower breaks. And it's kind of funny because the mom says, oh, now I got to pay for this bell tower. And she's like, no, it's a clock tower. Kind of reminds me of Back to the Future, right? Save the clock tower, save the clock tower. Now they jump scene in New York. And this scene right here is so funny because they're showing Captain Rogers, the musical, right? They're like doing all that stuff. They have Hawkeye and his kids right there watching. And Hawkeye's just like, wow, they actually made a musical out of this. And this is the Battle of New York scene, right? And he's just like bored as hell. He sees Captain America. And then he kind of tones out because he sees the person who's playing Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, and he kind of goes in this whole zone of, man, I wish she was still here. And there's a little girl in the audience, and she's just happens to be a redhead and waves at him, and he like straight goes into the zone. And this character right there, the guy in the red suit, it's supposed to be Ant-Man. And he says he wasn't there. And in this episode, he tells his daughter he wasn't there. Ant-Man wasn't there. And it's funny because he's wearing the shirt. The logo of the shirt is Pym Particles. If you guys watch the scene, it shows Pym Particles. It doesn't show the Ant-Man logo. But yeah, Battle of New York, Captain Rogers. The songs are funny here, so go pay attention to the music. Again, I'm not going to play anything, but there you can see the logo of Captain America right there. As I zoom in a little bit, it's Pym Particles. It's not did I say Captain America? I'm sorry, Ant-Man. That's Pym Particles and not the Ant-Man logo. But he's in the bathroom. And this kind of scene was kind of weird because there's this part when he's in the bathroom. I'm trying to pull it up. I'm going to just press play just a little bit because I have to pause it in that scene. But there's this part when he's in the bathroom and then he looks down in the urinal right there. And it says Thanos was right. And again, if we watched Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, how that group was saying it was better when half of the population wasn't here because we were able to do certain things, and now that everyone's back, there's all these restrictions on what we cannot do. So someone says Thanos was right, but in his head, again, you got to think about, Hawkeye, what he just went through. He went through the whole Endgame scene. He lost Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. He's thinking, man, Natasha sacrificed her life for someone to say Thanos was right. Kind of messed up, right? And then a guy, look at this scene right here. Us guys know if there's a guy in a urinal and there's all these urinals open up, you just don't pull up to the next guy next to you. There's buffer space needed. Unless it's a football game, unless the movie just let out and we're trying really hard and there's a lot of people there, but there's a buffer zone, man. You got to know there's a buffer zone. You guys got to know there's a buffer zone when it comes to using urinals. It's just common etiquette. But this guy goes right next to him and then come to find out he's a fanboy. He wants a selfie. He's bugging him. Everything to do a selfie. Okay, so fast forward again. Again, he's just telling his kids that he loves them and they're going to do all these things for Christmas. And then that bridge right there, iconically, that bridge was the same bridge in Avengers when they stood there together and they said, this is what we're going to do. So it's kind of funny because it shows Kate Bishop coming out from that bridge. She's on the bottom instead of the top. So it's kind of showing her or showing us that she's right now at the bottom and she's going to eventually be on the bridge or on the same level as the other Avengers. So it's kind of a metaphor, and I like that metaphor. I kind of like that way that looks. She's walking home. She just got suspended from school. And then this is when she meets her mom's fiance, Jack Docanez. And it's funny because you see in the background, you see all these swords, and then there's swords everywhere. There's swords laid out pretty much everywhere. So it's kind of telling us he's into swords. And then there's an Easter egg in that because he's supposed to be the villain. He's supposed to be the villain in this movie, one of the main villains, and his nickname is called Swordsman. So we'll see what happens if that comes to fruition. There's going to be a lot of villains here. See, there's a sword sitting right there, but there he is right there. And he's already creepy the way he looks. But, Hawkeye's trying to live a normal life. He's trying to eat regular Chinese food with his family. And then the waiter comes up to him later on. He's ready to pay the bill. And then the waiter comes up to him and says, "It's on us. It's on us." And he's like, no. And he says, "You saved our city." And so he's trying to live a normal life, right? Hawkeye's trying to live a normal life. He's trying to be, Clint Barton. He wants to be Clint Barton and not Hawkeye. That's what I think. He's trying to just be Clint, not Hawkeye, but everybody's seeing him as Hawkeye, and they're like, "I want a selfie with you. We're gonna pay for your food with your family." So it's kind of hard to swallow, but it's just what it is, and he did save it. This is an auction scene. This is a party that the mom wants Kate to come to. He meets Jack's uncle. And I'm pulling up his name right now. He's one of the main characters in this. In the comic book, he's Jack's dad. But here he plays Jack's uncle, and his name is Armand III. Simon Cowell, not Simon Cowell from American Idol, Simon Cowell, but Simon Cowell, and he's Armand III, and he's kind of like naive, but he's again he's just playing that role. Then we meet Armand VII, and then again I'm just fast forwarding this whole thing because a lot of this stuff. It's just the build up to what ends up happening. So she ends up, let me just fast forward this. She ends up finding her way down to a auction, a secret auction. And here they're selling the Ronin blade. And then a bunch of guys come in, break in because they want to watch. there's a certain watch that they're looking for. And then these are all artifacts from the Stark Tower, or they call it the Avengers Carnage or the Avenger Garbage or whatever it is. So I guess Tony Stark just didn't want to get all his stuff after that. And I'm assuming this is all from upstate New York, right? When Thanos went in there in Endgame and destroyed pretty much the campus up there, the Avengers campus up there, I guess people just went in there and started looting and started taking things. You know, I mean, where was Pepper? Pepper should have been like, no, Tony's gone. I'm taking over. We're not going to do all this. But these guys had bags of stuff, and this is how they got the Ronin blade and they got the Ronin costume. So she ends up getting the Ronin costume. This is episode 1. She puts him on. She tries to be like Hawkeye. She tries to fight. But again, you know, she's new. She's young. She's having a hard time. Jack's like, you know, the mom's like, hey, where's Kate? He's like, I don't know. I haven't seen her. So he's trying to do all this stuff. He's trying to fight, you know, the mafia, the Russian mafia. So this scene, there's the dog. The dog has one eye. He ends up becoming Lucky. He's like Lucky Pizza, or Pizza Lucky is the name of the dog. And in that scene, they actually showed the watch. The guy was like, oh, here's the watch right here. So Clint's back in his hotel, and then this is the scene where he's like, that's my suit. And he's trying to be so unemotional because he doesn't want his kids to know that that's his stuff, right? But the wife knows, and we find out in part 2 that she knows. So she goes back to the room. She's trying to find, I mean, this part right here, she should have just took off the costume, which I think was kind of dumb on her part because she left it on, which in part 2, episode 2, we'll find out what happens. But she goes to Armand's house. I don't know why she goes to Armand's house, but then he's found dead there. He's stabbed with a sword. So she ends up running away, and here's the mafia. They find her, and then she's going gaga because she sees Clint for the first time and says, "You're Hawkeye. You're Hawkeye." All right, that was episode 1. Again, episode 1, pretty cool episode. It was called Never Meet Your Hero. Episode 2 was called Hide and Seek. And we're going to go to that right there. We're going to see the whole Disney Plus. So there's just a recap on what happened, and then we're just going to skim to. So this is where it stops, where he's like, who are you? And she tells him who she is, and they just go from there. So in this scene, they're just trying to get back the Ronin suit. They leave the Ronin suit there. It ends up, the whole place ends up burning up. She leaves the Ronin suit. He's like, I'll just get it back another day. But he's starting to realize who she is. Okay, she's an archer. She's a fencer. She has all these trophies. So he's starting to realize who Kate Bishop is. And this part right here, when he gives her the Ronin suit, this is what kills me. There's something later on at the end, towards the end. But when she gives him the Ronin suit, all he does is he hangs it on the chair. If you really wanted that suit that bad, and again, this is all Marvel writing, and I give them props for the way they write things. But if he really wanted that, he would have put it in his bag right away. So here we are again with them trying to come in, trying to steal Kate Bishop, trying to do all that stuff. This scene is hella funny because he's like, I got to take you to a secret hideout. We got to, go find a place. And then she's excited. She goes, are we going to the Stark Tower? The hideout at the Stark Tower. And he's like, Stark Tower was sold not that long ago. And if you guys remember Spider-Man, the very first Spider-Man, Homecoming, you saw Happy moving the Avengers Tower, or they were moving away from the Avengers or Stark Tower, and they're moving to upstate New York. So he's just getting a bunch of stuff here. They find a secret hideout. They're at Kate Bishop's aunt's house, who's supposedly in LA or somewhere. She's an actress somewhere. This scene, Clint Barton is trying to get his suit back, and he finds out the suit is gone. The suit is gone. And then in this scene, he realized, okay, there's somebody there that's a firefighter that's into role playing. Kind of a key role, because it kind of makes him realize, okay, the suit didn't burn. someone took it. So he goes back to Kit's house or Kit's hideout, the aunt's apartment. He's cleaning her wound, helps her clean the wound. And then he realizes who has the suit and how he's going to get the suit back. So he's just a lot of small talk. He's Googling. And then this is the scene where he finds this guy. And then, bam, he's wearing the Ronin suit. All right, so now he has another agenda. Okay, let me find the Ronin suit. Remember, he's saying whoever puts on the Ronin suit has bad luck. And she put on the Ronin suit, and all of a sudden, you have these guys who are after her, right? These guys who are trying to kill her. So he wants to make sure that everyone, this suit is gone. This suit is not around anymore because every person that he killed and this is during the blip, right? He killed mafias during the blip when the world was missing half of the population. Mafias was still trying to control certain things. So he made sure that they weren't doing that. So that was kind of cool on his part, becoming the Ronin. This scene right here in New York, and he's packing up his kids, sending them home. His daughter's like, promise, promise, promise. Remember the scene in Endgame where he was helping his daughter, teaching her how to shoot an arrow, and then we all thought she was going to be the next Hawkeye, but she's not. So this is the scene where she's leaving, and then he has a hearing aid, and a lot of people's like, okay, where did that hearing aid come from? And it's episode 1. He's turning on his hearing aid, and the daughter even says, did you turn off your hearing aid again? Because he didn't want to listen to the show, right? So just skimming through again, we're just, touching on the big points. This is the scene right here where he kind of tells her why he has a hearing aid. And they kind of flash back to certain scenes, from Avengers to pretty much all Avengers, all the explosions that happened. This is the reason why he has a hearing aid. In this scene right here, a little kid goes, look, it's a superhero. It's a superhero. And then he thinks it's him, but it's actually these fake Avengers. And I guess they couldn't use the name Black Widow or Hawkeye, and they called him like Black Kitty or something like that. I don't know if it's something that's going on with Disney and Black Widow. Maybe they couldn't use the name. I don't know. So this scene, he's telling her to call me. All right, so pretty good so far. I mean, episode 2 was just as good as episode 1. And then this scene right here is so epic. This is like the coolest scene. He tracks down the suit. It's kind of like this role-playing, like medieval kind of role-playing. And the only way he can get the suit was he actually has to sign up and dress up as one of them. And then this, let me try to find the scene. Okay, I'm going to go back to that scene because it's this scene right here. I'm going to press play. It's the most, to me, in this episode, it's the most iconic because everything is in slow-mo. He's walking through in slow-mo. He's dodging. And these guys, remember, these guys aren't professionals. They're just having fun. But Clint is. He's actually been through all this. And he's just, look at his face. He's laughing. And then he sliced them all down. And they're all like, oh, I'm dying. This is, again, the coolest episode. And he's having fun. He's enjoying it. You can see in his face that he's doing that. And then he finally sees, where his suit is, so he wants to go get his suit. But it's just a cool homage to what he's been through as an Avenger and what he's been through in real life. And these guys are sitting here role-playing everything. So this is the scene where he goes, hey, man, I'll give you the suit. Just let me kill you. And again, they're just having fun, right? They're just enjoying themselves. But that scene right there we just showed you guys, again, one of the most iconic scenes ever. So they go through this whole battle. He tells them how he can get the suit back. Then we'll just fast forward towards the end. He gets the suit back eventually. But this is what I mean. So he gets the suit back. The guy hands it to him. And then Clint right away puts it in his bag. Right? That's Chills. His name is Chills. Clint right away puts it in his bag. And that's something he should have done in episode 1. He should have put it in his bag right away so he doesn't have to go through all this. But I'm glad they showed us this scene. This is one, again, the most iconic scenes that we've seen. So it's kind of cool. It kind of shows that real person that Clint Barton is versus like an Iron Man or a Captain America who probably wouldn't have done this, right? They probably wouldn't have role played to get their suit back. Robert Downey Jr. or Tony Stark probably would have just said, here's $3 million for your thing. Give me my suit back. Captain America probably would have just found a way to take it without having to go through all that. But it just shows that Clint's a human being. He's not a god. He's not a big superhero. He's just a regular person who just wants that destructive suit back. So he gets it back. He walks away. He goes back home. And this scene right here, he finds a locker and he puts the suit in the locker. And it's funny because it shows us where he is. Let me just fast forward this scene. He's walking. And in that scene right there, it says locker rooms, New York City gym hours. So he's at a gym. So I guess they can have overnight. A lot of the gyms that I went to, you're not supposed to have your lockers there overnight or your stuff there overnight. So I guess here they could. I don't know. You guys in New York, let me know. Can you guys have your stuff there overnight? I don't know. But dinner. He's having dinner with, and again, look at the sword right there. Obvious that he's going to be the swordsman. He might be the swordsman. Here, he stole the Ronin sword already in episode 1 when they were bidding it off. He stole the Ronin sword, so that's going to tie in later on in the episode, so we'll see. She finds out in episode 1 that the mom's engaged. He's not happy, so they have this whole fencing duel. And then she already knows, Kate Bishop already knows there's something up with Jack. He's not regular. There's something up with him that we need to figure out. So she slowly, this is a test. This was a test. This whole fencing thing was a test for her, right? So she finds out later on, okay, this guy is, something else. He tries to stab him, and then he ends up, whooshing the sword away. Disney Plus is gonna give me a hard time again. It's thinking of what it wants to do, so we're gonna relax real quick. Gonna let it catch up. But swordsman Jack Duquesne plays the swordsman in the comic book, so it's only fitting that they put him in the live action because it's showing us that we need a villain. And again, at the end of this, I'm going to touch on who I think the villains are. So we need a villain. So let's give us a villain. And again, they're showing us the villain right away. Right away, they're showing us a villain. And that's not how it usually works. Usually we don't see a villain right away, right? Usually we wait a while. They reveal who the villain is. And we're like, whoa, that's the villain. So this scene, she's arguing with her mom. She's telling her mom he's not who you think she is. She doesn't even know who he is. So I'm trying to figure out why she's telling her mom you don't know who he is, because she doesn't even know who she is. In this scene right here, he offers her a candy, and that's the same candy that she found in Armand's house. In a jar of candy. So now she's starting to think, did you kill your uncle? Did you kill your uncle? Did you kill your uncle? Now in that scene, in that auction scene, they were battling for the Ronin sword, and the uncle goes, you don't have that money. The uncle ends up winning the auction before the terrorist comes in there or the mafia comes in there and destroys the building. So Clint Barton right here, he finds his way to get taken. She tracks his phone down. They're interrogating him. So this is the end scene. She comes down. She drops down. The funny thing about this is, I'm just going to play it a little bit. He gets out. They're like, okay. Then they're looking up on the roof because there's somebody running up on the roof. They're trying to figure out who that is. He doesn't know who it is. Then all of a sudden, here comes superhero entrance with the regular superhero landing on her back. And this is an homage to so many times that Clint Barton tries to land on his feet and he can't. He's always landing on his back and he's always going, oh. So just the regular guy, right? So they tie them both up, and then here we get our first look at we think is going to be one of the villains. Let's see if I can get her face. Her face is at the end. He says, we have them both. They're both tied up. And then we get a look at her face. That's Echo. That's who the character is. And if you guys watched any of the WB Network Marvel movies or Marvel series, Kingpin adopted Echo after he killed her parents. And she doesn't know that, he killed her parents. I think she thinks it was Daredevil that kills her parents. So are they tying in Kingpin with this episode? Marvel likes to have more than one villain. Remember that. They like to have more than one villain. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, more than one villain. In WandaVision, there was more than one villain. There was the obvious villain, and then there was the American villains. So let's go ahead and close this scene out. But yeah, so in this universe, I liked it. I liked it. Again, it shows us the regular person that Clint Barton is. It shows us the regular person that he is, the type of person that we want in a Marvel movie. Just the regular person. No superheroes, just a bow and arrow, some skills, determination, motivation, and that's what we want. I guess I don't mind seeing the Iron Man. I don't mind seeing the Captain America. But then what's Tony Stark without his suit? What's Captain America without his super serum? Right? They're just regular people. He just has a bow and arrow and, again, some skills. He's a mercenary. He's a, trained killer. He's a paid assassin. He knows what to do. He knows how to do all that stuff. Just a regular guy. And I love that about him. So who's going to be the main villain? Is it going to be Jack Duquesne? Swordsman? Is it going to be him? Is it going to be Kingpin? It's not going to be Echo. Echo is just a stepping stool on who the main villain is that we're going to see. We don't know who it is. I think Echo is just showing us that, hey, my father, Kingpin, wants to see you. So if they bring in Kingpin, are they going to bring in Vincent D'Onofrio, who played Kingpin in the WB Network? That means if they do that, they have to bring Daredevil. They have to. They have to bring Daredevil in. And if they do that, God, this whole MCU just, to me, just 10 times better than the Eternals. That's all I got to say. 10 times better than the Eternals. Because if they tie in Kingpin, then that means they're going to tie in Spider-Man and all this stuff. And this is only 6 episodes. Here's what kills me. In the end of Black Widow, Val, when Yelena was paying respect to Black Widow's grave, Val went up to Yelena and says, "Do you want to catch the person who killed your sister?" Shows her a little iPad, and it was a picture of Clint, right? And it's funny because in that scene, Clint's wearing the Ronin suit. So Ronin suit is supposed to be secret. Not a lot of people knows he was the Ronin. Only him, Black Widow, and now Kate Bishop. So where do they get that picture? How do they get that picture? I don't know. But at the end of Black Widow, they show Yelena, do you want revenge on the person who killed your sister? She says yes, she does. All right. She wants revenge. What happens to Yelena? Or where is she? Is she going to make a scene here? Is she going to come to this universe and show us that? And, Yelena was there. They showed us in Black Widow, big screen versus the small screen. Is she going to come? Is she going to be a bad guy? Is she going to be another person that's hunting Clint or Hawkeye because she wants revenge of her sister's death? Is Hawkeye going to find a way to explain to her sister? Now, if you look at IMDb and you look at, IMDb shows you how many episodes characters are going to be in. There's only 6 episodes here. She's only going to be in 4 episodes. So that means the next episode, the 3rd episode, she's already going to be on there. They're already going to show her. They are. Now, I want to know, is Echo, was she a Black Widow? Was she one of the widows that, you know, again, there's a whole backstory on her. Disney Plus is doing a whole series for her, which I can't wait because we get to see her backstory. And then she ends up becoming, you know, part of the Avengers anyways, like Kate Bishop becoming part of the Young Avengers. So I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait. Again, this is a whole cool new thing for me. And then what I love about this, and I'm going to play it for you guys right here, is the soundtrack to this. Everybody has these cool soundtracks when it comes to the Marvel MCU universe, right? When it comes to the MCU universe, everybody has a cool soundtrack. But if you listen, and I'm going to play it right here, I'm just going to play it in the background. You're not going to hear it. If you listen to Hawkeye's, it's just regular. Right? See? It's just regular. It's a regular sounding sound. It's not the, you know, the Tony Stark, the Captain America. It's just regular, and I like it. Again, Clint's just a regular person. Just a regular guy doing regular things, and I love it. I love it. All right, guys, that's it for my Hawkeye season 1 and 2, episode 1 and 2 review. I'm going to review it every week, so you're going to get used to Kate Bishop right here and Clint Barton right there. Get used to them because that's the backdrop that I'm going to use. I think it drops on Disney Plus every Wednesday, so we're just going to review that. It's not going to be as long as it is today. It's a 40-minute review today, and that's because I did 2 episodes, not 1. So we're going to go touch on every episode, 6 episodes leading up to Christmas. So every week you're going to see a different episode of me talking about Hawkeye, talking about the series. Again, this is something I usually do with the Ordinary Joes, but you guys know what happened. You know what's going on there. So we're doing this solo. We're flying solo on this one. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have different theories on what I just touched about, if there's certain things that I missed, there's a lot of things I missed. I know I missed. I was just trying to skim through everything. But if there's anything I missed that you guys can help me out and touch base with this and tell me what else, leave me comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you had a lot of turkey. Until next time, thank you for watching, guys. Vlog's ended. Go in peace. This right here is my favorite Avengers song of all time. Right here. You guys hear that? Oh man, that sounds so cool. But then this right here also in Endgame, when they all come back, the portal's open, they're all unsnapped. But then it also reminds me of when Thanos, where's my thumb? Snapped everyone away. Wait.
I made this.